Hello everyone, welcome back to my second channel, and today I'm reviewing what's been long awaited by a couple of comments. Today, I'm reviewing the Onewheel pint. Let's get into the review. Inside the Onewheel box, you will find your pint, a charger, an instruction manual, and a small booklet of business cards to pass on to people who want to know what a Onewheel is. So coming out at a whopping retail of $950, pretty much half the price of a Onewheel XR, you are able to get 6 to 8 miles of range and a top speed of 16 miles per hour, but on average through my experience, 14 miles per hour before you start finding a lot of pushback. I recommend not to go over that pushback and not fight against it, or else you can get injured like me. I'll go and explain that in another video. But anyways, having a smaller body and a smaller tire, the Onewheel pint is a lot more rounded and a lot more lighter than the Onewheel XR. And furthermore, you have over here, where I'm pointing with my finger, if I were to turn on the pint, a battery indicator, something that the XR does not have. Really good for people who are getting into riding a Onewheel. And I want to mention that this is not a stock pint, this is a modded pint. What I mean by modded is I bought these foot pads and this mag handle. We still have the stock tire on here, and I also bought a fender, but for this video I decided to rock the no fender look because I am filming an extra video about the pint later this week. Alright, so about my review of the Onewheel pint. I say it's well worth the money even to get this rather than the XR, to be quite honest, because if you live in a relatively flat area, you can extend your 6 to 8 miles to 12 to 14 miles. I have actually done a 14-mile ride on a pint before I died, 100%, but it was well worth it. Furthermore, these things are really durable as well. Once again, I have crashed on the pint as well, but not as worse damage as the XR. Only damage visible was to the front foot pad, which it had a small chip and chisel in it. So surprisingly, this had a lot more durability than the XR. But furthermore, you can also mod and get a lot of parts for a pint online at either onewheel.com or craftandride.com. There are a ton of parts that you can get for this. So, my initial thoughts when I first started riding the pint was it was amazing. I went from riding a V1 Onewheel to a pint, and what can I say? It survived me through my first year of college. But I do want to mention, 3 months into riding a Onewheel pint, I managed to break the stock mag handle. The mag handle from a stock pint is made of plastic, and it has ridging in the internals for texturing for your hands, but unfortunately the ridging was the breaking point or a physical flaw where it just snapped right off, and I wasn't able to pick up my pint, but not as comfortably, because with a pint or with an XR, there would normally be a groove right here where you can grab with your hand, but unfortunately the pint does not have that. So when I broke my mag handle, I had to carry my Onewheel like this, and that is not as comfortable. So I went online, bought the fender, and bought the mag handle Pro, which was $70 US retail. And is it worth the $70 US retail? Absolutely. I recommend you buy the mag handle Pro if you want to have a mag handle that lasts. If you want to match your aesthetics with your Onewheel, I recommend, sure, buy the mag handle colored versions, the plastic ones if you want to have a cute little bright handle on the side, but just warning you guys, it will break in about 3 months. Just because these, even though this is smaller, this still weighs about 22 to 25 pounds, unlike the 28 pounds of a Onewheel XR. But furthermore, the interface for the Onewheel pint is pretty nice. Instead of the black mode, it's a bright white version of the pint. It is very cute, and I love the aesthetics. You have a few your standard modes, but unfortunately with the pint, unlike the XR, you cannot create your own custom ride mode. I wish you could do that with the pint, but unfortunately you can't. It's beautiful. I love everything about this tiny little beast. One major thing that makes me want to say buy the pint over the XR is that you can travel with these on an airplane. And what I mean by that is if you buy one of these. This is the Craftin' Rides Onewheel pint bag. I was able to literally put the Onewheel pint in this bag and literally go through an entire airport terminal without them asking me to take it out. Reason being, because the Onewheel pint has the watt hours of 148 watt hours compared to the 328 of an XR, where the airline's regulated limit for TSA for you to travel with a battery is the massive size of 160 watt hours. So this fits well below that limit, so you can actually travel with airfare on a Onewheel pint. Would I recommend traveling with it? Absolutely, but there's some tips and tricks I would like to tell you about before traveling. So, first of all, do not, and I repeat, do not travel without something to carry the Onewheel pint in. And what I mean by that is because having such an interesting looking piece of machinery is going to catch some eyes. And we all know, back in the early 2010s, or 2015, when hoverboards came out by cheap Chinese companies, they tend to explode by cheap batteries. I've never seen an instance where a Onewheel pint has exploded because Onewheel knows how to build batteries. So, a lot of people who don't know what a Onewheel is are going to look at this and say that's a hoverboard and mistake the hoverboard for explosions and a bomb. Not something ideal you want in the TSA. So, by having a bag or putting this in a suitcase will allow you the privilege of traveling airfare with this. I recommend that you inflate the wheel in case of inflammation due to air pressure, and I recommend you charge the battery, at least have 50%, or just don't charge the battery at all for overcharge. Anyways, other than that, I managed to go through an airport perfectly fine with this, and I was able to take it to Washington and take it back home. I did not fly to Washington. I drove all the way down, but from flying to Washington to AZ or from SeaTac to PHX, totally fine. I had zero issues at all. And what's great is if once I got off the plane, you could just unpack your Onewheel and just ride it out into the sunset. Pretty much, and take a light rail. One thing I do want to talk about the pint is its pushback feature. So unlike the XR, the pushback of an XR tends to be a lot more tame and a lot more silent compared to the pint. The pint is a lot more prominent. Once you start going above 14 miles per hour, this thing is gonna start fighting you, and I mean fight you. You will literally feel the Onewheel pushing as hard as it can against you. That's when you know, hey, I should start slowing down. That is one feature I really love about this pint compared to the XR, because reasons like this and this and this. I'll explain in a further video next week. Other than that, Onewheel pint also has lights unlike the XR, but unlike the XR, they're slightly dimmer. So what I recommend is if you're riding in the dark with a pint, always carry your flashlight with you. Most phones today have flashlights with them, so you'll find no issue there. One thing about the pint is also it's got an adorable little branded Onewheel button, and it's a little cookie, and it's super soft. And on top of that, the charging port is on the same side as the pint, so you'll find no issue finding where the power button is and where the charging port is. Final thoughts on the Onewheel pint. It is such a beautiful piece of machinery. I love how they called it a pint. It's a little small size of the Onewheel. It can get you to and fro. Best commuter out there. So if you literally live like 2-3 miles away from your job, I totally recommend you buy one of these. If you live 2 to 3 miles away from campus, or even 4 to 6 miles away, definitely buy one of these. You can charge and go at a Starbucks, or you can power pirate from your local power system. I do not condone power pirating, but boy, it is fun. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. If I missed anything you want me to discuss about the pint, I will discuss in the comments below. I'm pretty active when it comes to reading my comments. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.